Hello, how are you today? I hope you're doing well. And today I want to talk about what is going on with people. Why is everyone acting so horribly? My last video, if you watched that, I talked about how I'm an introvert and I don't like to go out in social settings and be around a lot of people. But when I do go out, I've been noticing a lot of things, and I guess it's something I've noticed for many years, of course, but people are just getting worse and worse every day. Um, and I can't really put my finger on it. I don't know when it really started. I know throughout history, people have been doing horrible things to each other. I get that. But, every day I wake up and I kind of scroll through the news on my phone, and it's gotten to the point where human life doesn't even matter, and people are acting so badly to other people. It's really ridiculous. I, I don't know. Maybe it started with social media, internet. I was lucky enough to live in a time before internet, and everyone was, I believe, they're a lot more friendly than they are now. People walk around like zombies on their phones, and I don't know. They just, there's no human interaction anymore. Young people, um, just they've lost their moral compass. And I guess I'm not going to just pick on one age group. I mean, it's all over the place. And it's not everyone. I know there are a lot of really great young people. And I know you that are watching, I'm sure you're very nice people. But, kind of a large amount of people, it seems like the veil has gotten so much thinner between right and wrong, that it's hard to distinguish. People, they do horrible things and they think that they're on the right side of it. That, this terrible act that they did was justified and is going to better everyone else for it. And I see that a lot. You cannot speak your mind. You cannot talk about the way what you believe in without the fear of getting killed for it. And that's been proven, many, many times. You cannot ride a bus home at night without being murdered for no reason at all. Sometimes it's the color of your skin, sometimes it's your religious belief, sometimes it's just because you're there. I hear about these again, in the cities. They'll they'll kill a homeless person or an older person just because they're bored. Um, the idea that there's no right and wrong with a lot of these people, and it's very, very terrifying. And I see, years and years ago, I lived in Chicago for about a year, and I hated it. I don't like cities. I'll never even go to a city again. But I went there for film school, and I was a waiter back then at a real busy restaurant. But what I found is I was surrounded by thousands and thousands of people every day, just walking to work back and forth everywhere. But it was the loneliest time I ever had in my life. Is right at that moment, that year I was in that city. Nobody, this absolutely nobody, interacts. And I find that even, I live in a rural area, and anymore, if you try to act nice to someone and you do an act of kindness, that puts people off guard. They actually get defensive. If you smile and say hi to someone, you know, they don't know what's coming next. Are you going to try to take their money? There's all sorts of things that people think about, and that brings me to the scammers. the scammers have gotten so bad. Every day I get a phone call or a text, and I mean, a lot of times this is foreign people, but there's people in this country, of course, doing it all the time too. And they all they want is information from you that they can use in some horrible way, or your money. They want to take your money. And that is, you know, really, it puts people off. It puts them on a defense. It hardens people. Through my working career and really my life, I'm a really friendly person. I have a huge heart, and I'm easily used. And people did just that. They used me more times than I could remember. And some people would call me a tool. And, I would actually agree because people used me that way. And, it got to a point where I said enough is enough. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And it hardens you. I got a little hardened, and I got a little, I'd shut myself down from people because I got tired of being used, and it's horrible. There's different end games why people use you. Some for attention, some for monetary gain. Who knows? But there's just so many ways. And talking about social media and this channel, I've gotten some horrible, horrible comments. Not a lot. I get really, really nice ones from most all of you, but there's some people that I guess they just get up in the morning and choose to be an ass. That it's as simple as that. They choose to do bad. They had that choice. They could have been nice, but no. And then there's bots. When you have these channels or things like that, and I don't understand how these bot things work, but some, I don't know, some group of people, they develop this thing that goes, and all it does is cause problems, causes trouble on, social media. Now, I'm sure they're smart people, but why couldn't they take that time and energy to do something good with it instead of, you know, it's evil. It really is. And, we get wore out. Before I married my wife, she took her mother to New York City, a place I've never been, a place I will never go. Now, if you're from New York City, God bless you. But for me, I'm not into cities at all. Anyways, they were walking down a very busy sidewalk, and my mother-in-law fell down. And she was a little old lady back then. She's still alive now, but she fell. And what did people do? They walked around her. They walked literally over her. And I couldn't believe that. I could not believe her telling me that. And I mean, for the love of God, if you see a little old lady on the on the sidewalk, stop and help her up. I mean, it only takes a second, but people are, I don't know if they're self-absorbed. They just don't care, I guess. And I see all these people on social media, whether it be Facebook or TikTok, whatever, and something horrible happens, buildings on fire, or someone is fighting, beating someone else up, and you know what they're doing? They're there with their phone and they're filming it. They're doing absolutely nothing but just recording, and they'll post it on their page later on. I'll tell you what. If I saw someone getting attacked, even by a small group of people, I would rather help out. Even if I had to go to the hospital, I hope nothing worse would happen to that. But I would rather wake up in a hospital than go home as a useless coward. And that's just the way I'm built. But there is hope. I'm proud. I'm very, very proud of my boys, my two boys. My youngest is 21, my oldest is 31, exactly 10 years apart to the month. But they went up over Thanksgiving weekend. They went up to the UP. I believe it's like Curtis, Michigan, up there, and to visit their grandparents. They live up there. It's my ex-wife's parents, though. But they were up there, and I got a text from my ex-wife. Let's see, Thanksgiving night, and it horrified me. She told me that her dad, I don't know why he was out, but he was out, and it was during a blizzard up there, but he was out, and a tree fell across the road. He could not get home. And it's pretty desolate up there where they live. So the boys, and he needed a chainsaw. The boys didn't even hesitate. They jumped in their truck and they battled that blizzard, and they got to their grandpa and they cut that tree in two or cut several pieces, and they got that off the road, and they all made it back safely, thank God. I think when they got back, their grandpa poured them a shot each, job well done. But man, as a parent, I was absolutely terrified. I mean, they were over 300 miles away from me, and I couldn't do anything to help them or save them. And of course, the parent, the father in me, I mean, wanted to leave at that moment and drive that 300 miles to make sure those boys were okay. But you know what? There's a lot of people would not have helped him. So again, very proud of my boys. And if you have children or grandchildren like that, you should be very proud of them also. But as I talked about in my last video, your circle of friends, my circle of friends, they get smaller and smaller, and sometimes they might even get non-existent. And, people change. You might have had a friend 10 years ago, but now they're a really negative person. And I'll tell you what, you cannot fix people, and don't even try. If you have someone in your life that is really that way, this hateful, negative, get them out of your life, because it's horrible. Hate, negativity, it's like a cancer. It just grows and it goes to other people. It's just never a good thing. But, going back to this people in general, we're going into the holiday season now, and that brings out the worst of people, sometimes the best, but mainly the worst. And that's never a great thing. I hate it, and you have to be careful and really watch out for yourself. I'm a strong believer in situational awareness. I'm always kind of generally scanning around if I'm in a store, and it's time to be very, very careful. They even you got to be careful now when you're in a group of people or crowds. These people, they have these data collectors they put in their pockets, and they just walk around, and they can get your credit card information if they walk by you. They don't have to pick your pocket anymore. It's terrible. Now, I have a wallet I bought now that has a shield to protect, that. And if you're an older person or just anybody, you might think about getting a shielded wallet. I think they probably make purses that way too. Do that, because you don't want to get that scammed that way. It is horrible. Now, in all my videos, I might talk about negative things like this, but I also provide a solution, maybe a way out, things that can help you. And that really, it starts with you and I, and that is, start showing kindness. Just like hate is like a cancer and it grows, kindness kind of, it flows out, like the warm sun in the morning coming up over the horizon. I'm getting a little poetic there, but it doesn't take anything to be kind, and it really starts it starts with you. And in your little group, in your family, instead of being grumpy, in the holiday season or any time, you might be going through something, but, try to be kind. And it helps. And if you see someone in need, please help them. It only takes a little bit because, I mean, as society, we're losing. I mean, we are losing. Things are going down the drain. And if we do not start acting better, it's going to be a really sad ending to once a beautiful story. And that's really my message today, is to be aware and watch yourself, but act kindly. And it doesn't take anything to do that. It doesn't take a minute to pick someone up. It might just be yelling at someone to break up a fight. I think it's our, if you can, it's our duty to help other people. And don't let bad things happen. Just don't stand there and watch that. But I appreciate you, and thank you very much for watching. Until next time.